How's it going, guys? If you watched the latest video, you're gonna know I opened myself an amazing mythical, apparently, the Calamitus. I was not sure what to think about this man when I opened him, but turns out he is actually great, and I did test him out, and I was really impressed with the results we got, especially in Hard Faction Wars. In this video, I'm gonna go over the builds, the masteries, everything you need to know about this guy, so you know what you could be doing with, as well as what to expect against him. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do, a like and subscribe would be awesome. And don't forget you can download Raid the right way and start the game with 4 amazing champions as soon as your first week, and you're also gonna have 24 hours to grab one of the amazing download links, get yourself an extra insane legendary. Now, let's get into it. Okay, so here's the man, the myth, the legend, the Calamitus. Not gonna lie, this guy is absolutely busted, and he will be doing great things for you both in Hydra and Chimera, and honestly any wave-based content too, because he just has 3 insane AoEs that basically do the delete on the entire wave. Not to mention, this man looks absolutely stunning. Like, look at these graphics. Swapping over to the second form, he looks absolutely brutal. Like, look at this triple fused skull he has for a head, absolutely awesome. Looks like some kind of lich with insane wings. Yeah, just they knocked it out of the park with the visuals, as they often do. Absolutely broken champion right there. And instantly you're gonna see I haven't built in 9-piece protection. I was lucky enough to actually have some somewhat okay accessories for him. Did I say protection? It's 9-piece merciless, guys. What is wrong with me? Obviously it's merciless. But yeah, I had exactly 3 okay-ish accessories for him right now. Nothing really to write home about. Like, the banner is freaking accuracy based, but at least it rolled a couple of attack and it had red on the speed already. Definitely could have rolled better. God knows it could have rolled worse. We only have a 5-star crit damage amulet here, but still not that bad. Rolled a little bit of accuracy. As you're noticing, I'm actually lacking on the accuracy part. And also the ring is defense flat, 5-star, but at least it rolled a few attacks here and there, and that's all worth it for the 15% chance of this guy getting an extra turn. Definitely is gonna be doing me a lot better, I do believe, than maybe swapping him out into 2 or 3 pieces of Pharaoh, let's say. I could actually do that if I feel the need to. Like, this is a pretty good banner for him, a lot better than what he already has at least. Even though, no, not really. This thing doesn't have a speck of speed on it, so scrap that. But yeah, you basically get it. It's kind of just thrown together on the accessories part at least, but it's all worth it for that 9-piece merciless. For the stats, you're gonna see we don't have him crazy built. Well, read through the skills, you're gonna see that he does not need to get crit capped. He only needs 80% crit to always be critting. So we managed to squeeze out a little bit more crit damage for an account like mine. Let's not forget, guys, my account is only 2 years old, so I really can't be having the biggest, bestest gear just yet, but I think we still managed to build him quite well with 305 crit damage. He's not even ascended, so that's minus 40 crit damage, was it? We only have 6,000 attack. I see people having 8k plus. The speed is not that amazing, but he is definitely getting the job done. When you're building a champion like this, first thing you do most of the cases, you just throw in your bestest speed boot you have. I myself have a pretty decent speed boot that also ascended in 12 speed. A little bit of attack on it, crit damage, nothing too bad here really. For the chest, obviously we are looking for attack percent on the chest for a champion like this, no questions asked. We also got lucky ascending into 20 extra attack. It has a little bit of crit rate, a little bit of accuracy. The rest of the rolls are actually pretty horrible, but this is what I have right now. For the gauntlets, you really want to go with crit damage, preferably 6 stars, so you can get the good old 80 and also ascend into plus 20, so that's a cold 100 crit damage right there. Aside from that, it rolled its worst that it could have really did for the substats we have, like double flat attack. This could have been attack percent, could have been crit rate, could have been speed. Decided to be this shit instead. Well, no, that's a lie actually. This thing only could have been double speed instead, because it's a rare item, so these flopped out on 12 and 16. They could not have rolled, but yeah, you get the picture. And on the shield, we just stitched things together to get enough crit rate basically, so we have a good amount of crit rate on the shield, good amount of crit rate on the helmet. Not that good, but here we managed to get a lot of extra attack actually, and the weapon is where the real crit rate happens. 23% crit rate, can't say no to that. Also has attack, speed, all of that good stuff, so decent rolls. Going through the skills of this guy, maybe that's what we should have started out, huh? You're gonna see that, yes, he does not really need 100 crit rate. He has this 20% chance of inflicting a critical hit always on all of his skills, so there's that. On the A1 on first form, each hit restores this champion's max destroy HP equal to the damage inflicted. Each hit also heals this champion by 30 of the damage inflicted, and also this thing grants grants an extra turn if this thing attacks an enemy. So yeah, you're not gonna really have too much of a problem keeping this guy alive in boss fights and wave content, that kind of stuff, so that's kind of cool. His A2 is actually pretty amazing. As soon as you see this thing, you're gonna see he would be pretty good in things like Fire Knight, let's say. He attacks one enemy 4 times, and each hit again has 20 increased crit. The first hit will ignore 10% of the target's defense. Each subsequent hit will be ignoring an additional 5% of the target's defense, so that's a grand total of 30% ignore defense on the last hit. On the first hit, he places block buffs. On the second, 60 decreased defense. The third, big weaken, and the fourth, big decreased speed. And these are all basically the best debuffs you could be landing, but it would have definitely been better if the block buffs was, let's say, last, so that decreased defense and weaken happen first, and that would have increased the damage quite a bit, because if you're actually the guy who's dropping the defense and placing the weaken, well, the first hit is gonna be pretty vanilla. But yeah, all around crazy good skill. On the A3, this is where the real money's at on wave-based content, and yeah, this thing attacks all enemies. The multiplier is crazy. If this attack kills an enemy, places unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn. If it kills more than 1 enemy, it places unkillable buff on this champion for 2 turns instead. Really nothing to write home about in terms of wave-based content, but it's nice to have. This could actually work on arena, let's say, but this is not exactly an arena champion, I'd say, so there's that too. But yeah, this thing actually smacks, guys. On hard faction wars, this thing dealt like 500,000 damage on everybody, and I'm talking about a level where before I got Calamitus, I literally took 3 minutes to actually tickle the enemies down, whereas this guy literally did the delete in a single turn, not even joking. Absolutely unlocked so much potential for me in Faction Wars card. I even managed to beat the purple boss on stage 14 with this guy. It wasn't easy, but without this guy it would have been absolutely impossible. We also have a passive in this first form, obviously. At the start of this champion's turn, places a shield buff equal to 50% of this champion's max HP on them for 1 turn, and also places a 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 1 turn. And this is pretty cool because this guy is basically always gonna have increased attack on him. You don't need to be bringing a support for him if he's gonna be the only one that's actually doing the smack. This would be pretty cool for something like Chimera, let's say, where you just bring 1 nuker like this and the rest is just champions that support him and help with the trials. And the cool thing about this is even if you switch form, you're still actually gonna start the turn with this thing. So yeah, that's pretty huge. When you switch to the second form, you're still gonna have the shield and the increased attack like that, which doesn't make sense if we gotta be completely honest, but it's how it works apparently. Switching over to form number 2, and here the A1 is again 20 increased crit. After attacking, transfer all debuffs from this champion to the target. If the target is under a hex debuff before the attack, transfers all debuffs from this champion to the target before attacking instead. That can be kinda helpful, because if you have a bunch of debuffs but the target is on hex, well, first you slap him with the debuffs and then you do the big boy hit. And this is also incredibly helpful on things like Chimera, by the way, because this way you might actually steal yourself a bunch of trials against something like the Viper form. That would definitely be pretty nutty. On the A2 we have another attacks all enemy, by the way. Again, the 20 increased crit. Before attacking, removes all debuffs from this champion. So basically, good luck sticking any debuffs on this guy. He's either gonna transfer him with the A1 or he's gonna just remove him with the A2. Either way, debuffs ain't sticking on this dude, so that's pretty cool. This thing also ignores 20% of each enemy's defense, but instead will ignore 35% of each target's defense if they are under a hex debuff. Damage increased by 10% for each debuff on each target. So this thing could ignore 35% of the enemy's defense, and the damage can also be increased by 100% if you have 10 debuffs on the enemies. Obviously, that's a best case scenario, but still, even increasing damage with 30 or 50 would be pretty crazy, and this is again a total wave deleter. And lastly, on the A3 we have attack all enemies again, and again the crit rate increased by 20. Before attacking, places a hex debuff and a 60 decreased defense debuff. So these two are 2 of the 3 best things you could be having on a wave before slapping them with the big hit. Would have been amazing if he was also placing a weaken at the same time with this, but that would have been a little bit too much. And also this thing will ignore things like life barrier, poison cloud, and ally protection. So basically Hydra specialist galore, which would be pretty awesome. So this is a grand total of 3 absolutely wave-crushing AoEs, so if you have any troubles with wave content, this guy literally deletes them in a second. You just start off with the first form A3, and by the way, I forgot to mention this thing is always critical and also ignores 20% of each enemy's defense, so this could actually be pretty crazy in arena, let's say. Like, you literally could just build this guy with no crit rate at all just because you're planning on using this thing. And this way you basically do the delete on a few champions this way, that places unkillable on him, so that can also be a viable way of actually using this guy. But I don't know, that sounds a little bit far-fetched. I haven't really tested it like that, but it could actually make some sense. But yeah, as I was saying, if you're struggling with wave-based content, you open up with the A3 here, and then you switch over on the next wave on the second form, and you have another couple of amazing AoEs with the A2 basically deleting an entire wave, and same goes for the A3. Pretty solid stuff, not gonna lie. That's about it for this man's skills. As you see, I do not have a blessing on him, but if I did, I think I would have gone for Nature's Wrath. That would give you a lot of extra damage basically, because the man does throw so many debuffs, so that is gonna increase a lot of extra damage for him. And if you have him all the way up to 6-star, you could increase his damage by 30%, which is absolutely broken. For the Masteries, I just grabbed what Hell Hades had for PvE, because that's what I'm planning on using him for after all. So here's what it is. If you want, you can copy him, or you can just hop on down Hell Hades and see what they have written on their site. And as for Relic, this man would do amazingly well with Cat's Gaze, but so far I'm not sure if I want to slap him with the Cat's Gaze instead of my Thor, instead of my Marius, that kind of stuff, so I'm really not sure. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. So for now I just gave him the Gore Crescent. Like I said, I was using him for wave-based content, so that's kind of cool. And I did have a couple of mythical gems. Do let me know in the comments, do these things actually stack to 6%, or did I waste the second gem here on this slot? Relics are still kind of a mystery for me, not gonna lie. It's not very easy to actually understand everything about it. But yeah, if you don't have the amazing legendaries, you might also consider something like the Iref Coronet, where his damage increases by 1% each time they place a debuff. As you guys saw, this guy has so many debuffs on his skills. Like, how many was that? We have Hex on this, decreased defense is also on the A2 from the first form, so let's count it just as Hex. On the A1, nothing. Here we have 3, decreased defense included. So yeah, it's a grand total of 5 debuffs this man is bringing, so as long as the fight is long enough, this guy is gonna stack all the way up to 30, so that can be a nice little extra chunk of damage. But yeah, obviously the Cat Gaze can also be absolutely broken on him. Like, if you slap him with this bad boy, that's gonna increase his crit damage by a lot. The attack also ain't bad, and ignoring extra defense like that, kinda insane. I guess it's worth mentioning that if you don't have Merciless just yet, but you managed to get yourself Calamitus, you might just slap him in 4-piece Savage so you can ignore 25% extra defense, or in a 4-piece Lethal set, obviously does the same, but even gives you 10% crit rate, so it's gonna be much easier crit capping him. You could also give him a little bit of Cruel set for a little bit of extra ignore defense, and the extra attack ain't bad. And you could stitch him out with a few accessories for Feral. That's gonna give you a little bit of extra speed, a little bit of extra accuracy, or you could even do some pinpoint. Now with the event dungeon being live again, you could definitely add yourself 40 extra accuracy, 10% extra speed. That would also be pretty cool. Anyway, let's throw him in a few dungeons here and there and see how he feels. Let's start off with a little bit of Doom Tower perhaps. Okay, let's see what this man does like this. I gave a couple of reset champions so we can actually reset Lydia's drop defense plus weaken combo, so we can really see the AoEs work in action. Heck, I'll even use the increased crit damage out of Thane, more like Fina. Okay, let's see the A3. Does he do the delete here? Boom, kinda crazy. And let's not forget, this guy does not have his ascensions just yet. He has not built top tier or anything like that, so there is a lot of room to improve, not gonna lie. Okay, sadly Lydia is gonna be a lot faster here, and I won't be able to reset it effectively. Let's see if we still get the thing before Calamitus. Oh god, they actually took a turn. Crap. Okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna reset instead. Enough about that. So let's just test everything on the first wave, do the buffs, and now let's see his second form, see how that do. Oh, come on. Okay, drop defense plus weaken combo, increased crits, and let's see what that second form do. Okay, let's start off with the A2. Again, pretty consistent, does the delete. Very insane. Last but not least, let's see the A3 on the second form as well. Spoiler alert, still does the delete, guys. Does the delete with a passion. And boom. Okay, that actually weak hit here, didn't it? But I guess you still get the picture. Around 260 on the waves. I even saw 500,000 on Hard Faction Wars stage 13 or 14, I think. So very consistent stuff. Very big boy damage for wave-based content. Where else should we show him for? I guess we could also try him a little bit in the Hydra. Let's remove Marius in here just for the sake of seeing what Calamitus does straight up. Should I waste myself a quick battle, just see what happens without any presets? I have no idea what he's gonna do without any presets, but let's just see. Marius does around half a bill here, so let's see what this guy does instead. Okay, half of that, no presets, no nothing. I don't know how that went really, but still pretty respectable for a full auto and whatnot. But yeah, now let's see it in action actually. Let's do the good stuff, and that provokes, slap those hexacles, increase damage with my Feral set on, what's his face? Feral on Feral, name a more iconic duo. Okay, let's see what that A3 do. We're at half a mil, see what that do now. Just a mil and something. Again, my build is not that crazy, so results may vary, that's for sure. Go with the good old big ol' attack. Let's not forget, even if the Poison Cloud did land here, he was actually gonna be able to do stuff through it. Sadly, we're bad affinity against this man, so the A2 is not that amazing against him, but maybe we can just throw it on this head instead. Okay, about 150, 160 on each of those. Definitely nothing too bad. And again, this could be even 250 if I haven't built a lot better with the better relic and whatnot. As you saw, my relic right now doesn't do pretty much anything in this case, so keep that in mind. Okay, let's see what I do on the second form. Starting off with the A3. We already have hex and everything on these guys, but still, let's see what the damage do. Again, around a million and something. Not the worst, but could be a lot better if I had a little bit better gear laying around. If I gave him the cat's gaze, all of that stuff surely would add up. Okay, and last but not least, let's see what that A2 do. Pretty respectable, not gonna lie. Okay, we decapitated a few heads here and there. Now we get to see what the damage looks like on decapitated stuff. Okay, well, might as well use his A3. Apparently the Merciless procced and refreshed his skill. Let's do that then. We are sitting at basically 11 mil. Let's see what that do against a couple of decapitateds. Not bad, not bad. Take those, guys. About a 4 milli right there. Okay, let's switch over and see what that A3 does on the first form again, and call it a day. Again, around 3 milli like that. Cannot complain, guys. Cannot complain. If you got yourself this man, if you can actually respect him with a little bit of good gear, you could be doing some pretty decent stuff in the Hydra. From what I hear, he is comparable in terms of damage output with champions like Thor and Ninja, but still very nice to be having this man like that. He can be unlocking a lot of potential for you for sure. And last but not least, let's also check him out a little bit on the Chimera as well. Right now I'm using Marius to his full potential here. Let's just quickly swap him out and add Calamitus instead and see how that feels. I do believe he should be able to unlock a little bit of extra trials for me here and there. In terms of damage, I do still believe Marius is going to be a lot better for me, but still cannot be too sad about bringing this guy instead, especially if you don't have Marius just yet, that is. Okay, let's see, what do we bring here extra? We already basically, with my team, I literally have all of these debuffs already landed now, don't I? Exactly those debuffs. So basically, Calamitus could swap out so many support champions for me right now. I could just replace Lydia with somebody else, even though she also brings the fear, so that might be very important for me. But then again, so does Lamasu, so I definitely could actually consider removing Lydia here. I wonder if the block active skills would be a big issue for me on the Viper form, however. Let's see how much damage this A3 here does. 226, not that amazing if we gotta be completely honest. Fast forward till the second time Calamitus takes a turn. Might as well just give him the reset. Okay, right now we're sitting at 381. Let's see how much damage that do. About 70 per pop. Again, not that amazing. About 250. My Marius does literal 2 to 3 million each time he uses the A2, so that's a lot. Let's see what his A1 also does, by the way. Alrighty, let's see it. Couple of smacks like that, nothing too fancy really. But yeah, what this guy basically brings is a lot of extra debuffs in a very small tight package, and he still brings quite a respectable pile of damage as well, so I will not be sad using this guy perhaps. Let's switch over to his second form, see how it feels there. Here the A3 also brings the Hex, so that could be interesting against, let's say, the Ram form if I'm begging for an extra debuff against him. Okay, 150. The Masteries also procced a little. Let's refresh him nice and quick so he takes a turn faster with Lamasu. See what that A2 do. He is sitting at 1400 with 1,400,000 damage right now. Half a mil. Kinda good. I guess that's his big boy damage against Chimera, it does seem. But again, let's not forget we do not have a great relic on him right now, guys. So that could be quite a lot better if I respected him with such a thing. And let's just see what his A1 do. 165. Can't say no to that, I guess, but also nothing to write home about. Okay, so all around that's about it for the showcase. No real reason for me to really try him in Arena, is there? I think you guys got the gist of it. He's not exactly an Arena champion. If you open him early enough, obviously he is gonna do crazy things for you in the Arena, but all around, the champion is great for waves. He can do wonders for you in Hydra, as well as in Chimera, so you would not be very sad opening this guy. I was kind of questioning if I'm happy or not when I opened him, but I think I am happy, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff, would really appreciate it. Don't forget you can download Raid the right way and start the game with amazing champions as soon as your first week, as well as with the promo code section. In your first 24 hours, you could get yourself an extra legendary like that. And don't forget you can also catch me live on stream each Tuesday and Thursday. If you want a free account takeover with me, join the stream and I'll do my best to help you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. I'm Crystal5 and I'll see you in my next video or stream.